Welcome back to our midweek devotion series for the season of Advent. This is December 8th, 2021. As I mentioned at the end of last week's devotions, this week we will look at the first Noel, a familiar Christmas hymn that many people love, including myself and my grandmother. And it is a song that, while familiar, can teach us something important about the Christ child that we celebrate at Christmas. When we begin to sing the song, the first Noel, we are told the familiar story. The angels go to the shepherds who are out in their fields watching their sheep, and they tell them about this wonderful thing that's happened. This Christ child is born. We also hear about the wise men, these kings from the east, that are led to Christ not by the angel, but by the star. This Christmas star that shone in the sky so brightly they could not help but follow it, because they saw it as a good omen, as a sign of something important happening. So they followed it to see where it would go and what it would reveal to them. The birth of Christ called to both the lowly shepherds, who would have been out in their fields for long periods of time, who would have smelled. They were around sheep. If you've never been around sheep, they kind of smell. And it calls to these kings, these people of prominence in their homeland, to come and see as well, to see the newborn king, and to see the beginning of something new. When they arrive, these kings don't just come in and go and greet themselves or greet Mary and Joseph as kings would, but they do something very unkingly. They bow. As the song puts it, full reverently they fall reverently upon their knee and offered there in his presence their gold and myrrh and frankincense. The kings don't enter with this grand entrance. No, they come in and they kneel before Christ, the King of Israel, the King of everything. You see, the wise men understand what the shepherds understood as well, what the angels were proclaiming. That when Christ comes into the world, things change. That first Noel, that first Christmas, everything was changing for the world, even if it didn't know it yet. When Christ comes, the playing field is leveled. We are all equal. The wise men, these kings of prominence in their home countries, are now seen on equal footing with these smelly shepherds from the fields. As we sing the first Noel, we sing this joy of that first Christmas night, that born is the King of Israel. We get these examples of shepherd and wise men, these three kings, as we tend to call them, being called from all around to look and welcome this Christ child, this new reality born into our world. And we too are welcomed into that. We are being brought into it as well, to stand on equal footing with wise men and shepherd alike, with celebrity and average Joe. We are invited to stand on level playing field with each other, no matter where we sit in any standard of the world, and marvel in awe at the birth of our Savior, of Christ, and dwell in that new reality that he is brought forth through his birth. So we sing, we rejoice, and we remember that first Noel, the first Christmas when born is the King of Israel. Thank you for joining me for our devotion this week. If you have any recommendations for songs that we could cover, please feel free to send them to me at the church's email address, or you can leave them in the comments of this video, and I will come back and look at them and pick a song for next week. I look forward to seeing you all again next Wednesday, 6 o'clock, and we will continue our look at favorite Christmas songs. God bless.